What we suggest people do is really do a little personal inventory of the noise, say in the workplace, that they may be generating that could be bothering others. So maybe we tend to think out loud, or we leave our ringers on or notifications on full blast, and perhaps we have a habit of interrupting out of excitement or whatever. Or we post a lot or send excessive texts or emails that require responses, or play music in common space, or auto dictate, all those things. There's so many things one can do. So just to take a little moment to think about, where might I be generating noise? So our first tendency isn't to go out there shaking our fingers about everyone else's noise, and instead to ask ourselves that. And if we just can't come up with anything, we could ask a truth teller in our lives. Is there any way in which I might make noise that bothers you auditorily or informational? Is there anything you'd love to ask from me? Maybe you could turn to your wife and ask. I have a feeling most of us would get an answer. So that's
Yeah,
just one of those
totally.
very concrete ways to start the process. And we spoke with Susan Griffin Black, who's the co-CEO of EO Products, a natural personal care company out here in California. And she says that she did that kind of inventory and then made a personal vow, a golden rule, if you would, that she would never be on her phone or computer when someone is talking with her. No multitasking when I'm with someone else. And she upholds that golden rule despite having hundreds of employees and a family and a lot of social commitments. And we really admire that. So once you've done your inventory and assessment and considered something that you really want to change, to maybe consider that a golden rule and move forward from there.
One other thought in terms of how to take something into the realm of action in a big way. If you read this book or listen to this interview and just feel that you need some deeper silence in your life, one really good thing to do is seek what we call rapturous silence sometime, maybe just once this year or once in a couple years. We explored Gandhi's practice of not speaking for one day a week. You don't have to do it for a whole day. You don't have to do it every week. Maybe this is just once a year, but take a day to not speak. Gandhi had this practice even during all the intensity of the work he was doing for India's independence. And sometimes he would attend events or attend meetings, but he wouldn't speak. He wouldn't utter a word. And he said that a seeker after truth needs to be silent. He noticed how taking time to be in silence, to not speak, changed the architecture of his mind because he wasn't so focused on filling the space or performing for other people or so focused on furthering his own agenda, but he was in a space of tuning into what's really true. So that's one way to go deeper. Another way, because you asked about actionable practices, another practice that we really like for going deeper into the silence, Brooks, is what we call take your to-do list for a hike, which is maybe appropriate to the productivity theme of this show. And the idea here is take your to-do list, maybe it's on your computer, print it out, and go somewhere that's truly deep into nature. Maybe it takes you a full day to get there, as far from the noise of civilization as you can go. And once you're there, say deep in a forest, or maybe to that remote beach that you talked about where you had to hike 18 kilometers, once you're there, simply listen, tune into the silence of this remote place. And then once you feel you've tuned in, take out your to-do list and cross off anything that isn't really important to you. Gordon Hempton, who's a renowned acoustic ecologist, told us that when he does this practice, he sometimes obliterates 5 months of professional commitments because at his home computer in the office, everything feels important. Everything feels like he needs to do it. But when he really tunes into nature, when he tunes into the silence, when he gets beyond all the noise and distraction and rumination, the things that he thought were important, he realizes aren't actually important. And it frees up a lot of his life for what really matters.